Hi, I'm Candice and I'm 30 years old. As much as I was trying to do better for myself, unfortunately, I found myself standing at the crossroads of love and war very early on in my relationship with my new man. After the disastrous failure of my first marriage, I made a solemn vow to protect my heart and preserve my peace at all costs. No more toxic relationships, no more nonsense. I had embarked on a journey of self healing and inner growth, determined to rise above the ashes and create a love that would nourish my soul. Enter Liam, my second husband, the embodiment of everything I had dreamed of in a partner. We were a match made in heaven, or so I thought. As our love story unfolded, so did the specter of his mother, Rosa, my mother in law. Little did I know, she would become a tricky test of my newfound strength and resilience. You see, I learned through my own experiences that being the bigger person and turning the other cheek does not always yield the desired outcome. Some people need a dose of reality, a taste of their own medicine, and Rosa was no exception. Even till the moment Liam and I exchanged vows, Rosa attempted to insert herself into our sacred bond. She questioned my every move, criticized my choices, and even went as far as trying to control our decisions as a couple. But I was not one to be swayed easily. I had fought too hard for my own happiness to allow anyone, even a mother-in-law, to disrupt the harmony I had painstakingly built. Drawing upon the strength I had cultivated during my journey of self-discovery, I confronted Rosa head-on. I let her know in no uncertain terms that her meddling would not be tolerated. The fire within me burned bright as I stood up for myself, refusing to bow down to her attempts to infiltrate my marriage. But Rosa, being the stubborn force that she was, persisted. She challenged my resolve at every turn, determined to break the boundaries I had set. And that's when I decided that perhaps a lesson in boundaries was in order. A lesson that would make her realize the consequences of overstepping. You see, what had happened was, Rosa would make these comments and jokes about joining Liam and me on our honeymoon. I don't know what it is about certain mothers and their crazed obsessions with their boys, but Liam is a grown man, and she needed to stop babying and coddling him. She would say things like, "Oh, you two are so adorable. I should join you on the honeymoon just so I can take pictures of you two and capture beautiful moments." And, "Wow, so you two want to vacation without me? How rude." As well as, wow, Candace, if you're not careful, I might just take your spot." Yeah, that last one made me cringe too. She would say these in the context of drunken barbecue events that the family would host, and people would write them off as just one of her silly jokes, and I too would find them somewhat laughable. But when she would constantly make these jokes, I started noting that perhaps she wasn't joking at all. Perhaps she meant what she was saying and would have liked to join me in my husband's honeymoon. But no sane mother-in-law would do such a thing, right? Well, unfortunately for me, I had found myself yet again with a less than sane mother-in-law. So after Liam and I tied the knot and the guests were lounging around waiting for the reception and the festivities to properly start, I found myself in my dressing room. I stood in front of the mirror, my heart pounding with excitement. It was our wedding day, and soon the reception would be in full swing. I wanted everything to be perfect. A celebration of love and unity, and things were going great so far. As I got touched up and refreshed, ensuring that my appearance matched the radiance within me, the door swung open, revealing Rosa's determined figure. Her presence sent a wave of unease through the room, contrasting heavily with the giddiness that was present just moments before. And I turned to face her, trying to mask my apprehension with a smile. "Hey, Rosa, what brings you here?" Rosa's eyes bore into mine, her expression unyielding. She wasted no time diving straight into the heart of the matter. "Candace, I need to talk to you. How do you feel about everything? Are you truly happy?" The question caught me off guard. Of course I was happy. Liam was the love of my life, and our wedding day was a testament to the love we shared. I couldn't help but let my joy seep into my voice. Rosa, I couldn't be happier. Liam and I are starting our lives together, and I can't wait for our honeymoon. We both deserve a break after all the wedding planning. Little did I know that Rosa's true intentions were lurking beneath the surface, waiting to be revealed. With an air of mystery, she leaned closer, her voice low and filled with a hint of mischief. Actually, about our honeymoon, I've decided to join you both. It'll be a surprise for Liam when I show up, so, darling, please keep it hush-hush. Don't ruin the surprise for him. She turned away, heading for the door as if everything was done and dusted. Confusion washed over me like a crashing wave. Did I hear her correctly? Was she serious about tagging along on our honeymoon? I couldn't help but question her intentions, searching for a logical explanation. Wait, Rosa? Are you being serious right now? You want to come with us on our honeymoon? Rosa's face remained stoic, a mixture of determination and expectation. Yes, Candace. I've always dreamed of experiencing such a romantic and beautiful getaway like this. I'm his mother, and I've always been there for his accomplishments, so I have to be there. It'll be a bonding experience for all of us. I was taken aback by her audacity. This was meant to be an intimate journey for Liam and me, a chance to create beautiful memories as a newlywed couple. I searched for the right words, my voice filled with disbelief. Rosa, this is our honeymoon. It's a time for us to connect and focus on our relationship. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I believe it's important to respect our boundaries. Rosa's expression flickered with a mix of surprise and disappointment. She hadn't expected me to push back, to assert myself in the face of her intrusion. I could sense her struggle to maintain control. Candace, I only want what's best for Liam. I thought this would be a special surprise for him, a chance for us to come closer as a family. I took a deep breath, summoning my inner strength. It was time to establish my boundaries and assert myself as Liam's partner. Rosa, I understand your love for Liam, but our honeymoon is a sacred time for us as a couple. We need space to nurture our relationship and create memories that will shape our future. I hope you can respect our wishes. The tension in the room was palpable as Rosa grappled with the realization that her plans had been thwarted. It was a pivotal moment, a test of our evolving dynamic. In that instant, I knew that I had taken the first step in protecting my marriage, setting the stage for the love and respect it deserved. So that's where the story should end, right? Well, unfortunately, friends, it doesn't end there. As the day of our departure drew near, excitement mixed with apprehension in my heart. Liam and I were on the cusp of embarking on our much-anticipated honeymoon. A time for us to unwind and bask in the joy of our newlywed bliss. However, an unforeseen storm was brewing on the horizon. It was the morning of our scheduled departure when Rosa's name flashed across my phone screen. Taking a deep breath, I answered the call, preparing myself for the unexpected. Hello, Rosa. Candace, dear, I've decided to join you and Liam on your honeymoon. Isn't it thrilling? I felt my heart sink, frustration bubbling up inside me. Hadn't we already had this conversation? My tone grew exasperated as I replied. Rosa, I distinctly remember telling you that this is a special time for Liam and me. We need the space to build our foundation as a married couple. Rosa's response was nonchalant and dismissive of my concerns. Yes, dear, but I've made up my mind. I'm coming along. It'll be a grand adventure for all of us. You'll see. My patience waned, and my voice became more assertive. Rosa, this is not up for negotiation. Liam and I have planned this trip as a private getaway. You must respect our boundaries. An uncomfortable silence filled the air as Rosa grappled with the reality of my refusal. I could sense her frustration, but I remained steadfast in my stance. Candace, don't be so dramatic. Now tell me, you two are going to Austria, right? I've already booked my ticket. I know it was last minute, so I won't be joining you on the same flight, but I'll meet you in Austria. She droned on, but at that moment, an opportunity presented itself, a chance to redirect Rosa's plans and reclaim our honeymoon as a sacred space for Liam and me. In my heart, I believe that everyone can learn and grow, but sometimes it takes a more dramatic approach to spark that transformation. I mean, I had already warned her, right? And I wasn't going to be the one to do the whole back and forth thing with my in-laws again. No siree. So what did I do? Well, just watch. Suppressing my inner frustration, I replied, Actually, Rosa, there seems to be a misunderstanding. We're going to Australia, not Austria. Rosa audibly gasped, taken aback by the unexpected turn of events. Oh my! I must have been mistaken. Oh yes, it appears you have. I'll need to change my flight immediately. Thank you for letting me know, Candace. Yep, change that flight to Sydney, Australia. Wow, changing flights at such short notice is going to cost an arm and a leg, but anything for my baby boy. I'll see you in Australia soon. Little did she know that Liam and I were in fact heading to Austria, not Australia. Yep, I bamboozled her, and I didn't feel bad about it at all. It was a small price to pay to safeguard our sacred time together. Rosa bid me farewell, rushing to make the necessary adjustments to her travel plans. As I hung up the phone, a mischievous smile played on my lips. It seemed that for now our honeymoon was safe from her meddling presence. With each passing minute, the weight of frustration lifted from my shoulders. Liam and I could finally embark on our journey without the shadow of Rosa's intrusion. It was a victory, a testament to my determination to protect what was sacred to us. As our plane touched down in Austria, Liam and I couldn't help but feel a rush of excitement. The picturesque landscapes, historic architecture, and vibrant culture immediately captivated us. We were ready to embark on our romantic adventure and explore all that Austria had to offer. Candace, look at this view. Can you believe we're in Austria? It's even more beautiful than I imagined. I know, Liam. It's like stepping into a fairy tale. I can't wait to see everything. From the moment we stepped out of the airport, we were greeted with warm smiles and a sense of welcome. We checked into our charming hotel, nestled in the heart of Vienna, and were instantly enchanted by its elegant decor and cozy atmosphere. The city was alive with history, art, and music, and we couldn't wait to immerse ourselves in its beauty. This hotel is incredible, Candace. Great choice. I'm glad you like it, babe. I wanted to make sure our stay is just perfect. When we arrived, our excitement overtaking our exhaustion, Liam and I strolled hand in hand through the enchanting streets of Vienna, marveling at the grandeur of Schönbrunn Palace and indulging in mouth-watering pastries at local cafes. Liam, can you believe the beauty of this place? The Alps are absolutely breathtaking. I'm blown away, Candace. This is truly a dream come true. Thank you for planning such an amazing honeymoon. We returned to the hotel, obviously drained from everything, and we decided that we'd continue with the fun tomorrow. Liam went into the shower, and that's when I received a call from none other than Rosa. She informed me that she was about to board the plane to Sydney. Hey, Rosa. Okay, that's great. I hope you have a safe flight. Oh my gosh, I can't contain my excitement that you're actually joining us in Sydney. We're going to have the most incredible time together at the Ocean View Hotel. You won't believe the breathtaking views of the harbor. Oh, my dear Candace, I am equally thrilled to embark on this adventure with you both, and I must say, I'm so glad that you finally came to your senses and saw the beauty in me tagging along on your honeymoon. I knew that you'd be understanding. I rolled my eyes, but proceeded with the charade anyway. Absolutely, Rosa, you're so right. I was wrong about everything. The flight may be a bit tiresome, but trust me, Sydney is going to captivate your heart. The vibrant cityscape, the iconic opera house, and the stunning beaches, you'll be in awe. Oh my, that sounds marvelous. I simply can't wait to experience it all. Candace dear, I hope Liam is prepared for some quality mother-son bonding time. This trip will give us a chance to connect on a deeper level. Rosa, I'm sure when Liam sees you, he'll be over the moon. It's going to be an unforgettable journey filled with laughter, exploration, and beautiful memories. That warms my heart, Candace. I am eager to create lasting memories with both of you. Rest assured, once I land in Sydney, I'll reach out to you immediately. It will be our signal to commence this grand adventure. Perfect, Rosa. The moment you touch down, give me a call. We'll coordinate our plans and make sure everything is in place. This trip is going to be a whirlwind of excitement, culture, and delightful surprises. Have a safe trip. As I ended the call with Rosa, I couldn't help but feel a delightful twinge of mischief. The thought of Rosa's reaction when she discovers we're actually in Austria, not Australia, filled me with mischievous glee. I knew that this unexpected turn of events would surely teach Rosa a lesson about respecting boundaries and allowing my marriage to flourish without unnecessary interference. The anticipation of Rosa's surprise, coupled with the enchanting beauty of Austria, added an extra layer of excitement to my already joyful spirit. It sounds like Schadenfreude, but I couldn't wait to share this incredible journey with Liam and create memories that would last a lifetime, while his mother was confused about her destination. After hanging up the call, I felt a mix of relief and anxiety. Liam, coming out of the shower at that moment, had noticed my change in demeanor and inquired about what happened. My glee and excitement immediately dwindled. Throughout this whole time, I hadn't once considered how he would react if he knew that I tricked his mother to such an extent. I didn't want to start off this new marriage with lies and deceit. I took a deep breath and decided to be honest with him. Liam, I have to confess something. Is everything okay? Well, not really. You see, I misled Rosa about our honeymoon destination. What? You know how she'd always make those jokes about tagging along on our honeymoon? Well, she essentially revealed to me that she wasn't joking during those encounters. She meant it. She wanted to come with us on our honeymoon. What the hell? Of course, I told her that that's out of the question because this is meant to be time for us. Right. But she just wouldn't listen. She insisted sternly that she'd be coming. So instead of going back and forth with her, I decided to mislead her about our destination. I proceeded to tell him the rest of the story, apologizing profusely at every possible chance I could because I didn't want him to think that I was some kind of monster for deliberately sending his mother to a different country. I just wanted to teach her a lesson since she wasn't interested in listening. He was quiet for a moment and I couldn't read his facial expression. He sat down on the bed and he did the most bizarre thing. Of all the reactions he exhibited, he began to laugh. I was confused and he just laughed even harder. You sly fox, Candace. I can't believe you did that. Honestly, it's a relief. I've always found my mother's interference kind of exhausting. This way, we can truly enjoy our time together. Wait, so you're not mad? Well, do I like that you sent her to Australia and she'll be in a foreign land? Not really. But I just find the situation hilarious. I'm imagining her face. She'll be so shocked when she learns the truth. We both chuckled about the whole debacle and enjoying ourselves and the situation. With a renewed sense of unity, Liam and I continued to explore Austria, reveling in each other's company and the beauty of the country. Our bond grew stronger as we experienced the rich history, breathtaking landscapes, and vibrant culture together. We made cherished memories that would forever be etched in our hearts. As for Rosa, little did she know that her son was in on the plan, and found it rather comical. The tables had turned, and she would soon discover that her attempt to infiltrate our honeymoon had backfired. Like clockwork, Rosa called once she arrived in Australia. She said that we should just pick her up from the airport because she was exhausted, and that's when I put the phone on speaker mode and said, "Hey Rosa, Liam and I are together right now. Listen, there's something I need to tell you. We're not actually in Australia, we're in Austria." "What? But you said Sydney, the Ocean View Hotel." "Yeah, that was all a trick, Rosa. Sorry about that, but you had to learn." "What? A trick for what? What did I do?" "You kept trying to insert yourself in my honeymoon. What kind of mother does that? When you were insisting to tag along instead of fighting you about it, I decided to let you believe what you wanted, so that I could enjoy some quality time with my husband." "How could you do this, Candace? I trusted you. You're no good for my son." Liam, who had been listening this whole time, as he was by my side, said, "Mom, I think it's time you understand that meddling in our lives and disregarding Candace's boundaries has consequences. This was Candace's way of setting a boundary and teaching you that we deserve to have our own space and privacy." "What? Liam, you too? I can't believe you're taking her side. I can't believe you deceived me. I raised you. I've always been there for you." "Mom, this wasn't just about deceiving you. It was about making a point. Candace and I are building a life together, and it's important that you respect our decisions and allow us to forge our own paths. We love you, but boundaries are crucial." Rosa's furious voice echoed through the phone, causing heads to turn in their direction. "You've humiliated me. I can't believe my own son is turning against me." "Rosa, please try to understand. We didn't do this to humiliate you. We did it to make a point, to show you that we need our space and independence. It's time to let us build our own life and respect our boundaries." "I don't want to hear it. You're both selfish and ungrateful." "Call us back when you're ready to talk about this properly." With that, I abruptly ended the call, undoubtedly leaving Rosa looking crazy at the airport. I should have felt bad, but honestly, I felt a sense of relief for finally standing up for myself and my boundaries. I had to remind myself that I wasn't the weird mother who was trying to join her son's honeymoon. For that, I should have sent her to the moon because of how loony she was acting. "Liam, are you okay?" "I am, Candace. Don't worry about Mom. She's obviously just embarrassed and frustrated now. But if this isn't a wake-up call, then I don't know what will convince her that her behavior is not okay. She needs to respect our boundaries, whether she likes it or not." I'm still on my honeymoon with Liam, enjoying Austria. We haven't heard back from Rosa, but we decided that she'll call us when she's done licking her wounds. Who knows? Maybe she made her trip to Australia worth it. All I know is, I bet she won't try to insert herself in our plans ever again. My relationship with my mother-in-law Ellie was far from idyllic. We clashed on almost everything, and her disapproval of my chosen career as a writer was a constant source of tension. She never missed an opportunity to criticize my job, belittling it as if it weren't a real profession. Ellie, with her traditional mindset and old-fashioned values, couldn't fathom why I didn't pursue a more practical path. In her eyes, success was measured by a stable corporate job with a fancy title and a six-figure salary. But for me, writing was my passion, my escape, and my way of expressing myself to the world. Despite Ellie's constant jabs and snide remarks, I found solace in the unwavering support of my loving husband, Kylan. He believed in my talent and encouraged me to pursue my dreams. Kylan understood the power of storytelling and recognizing that my words had the potential to touch people's hearts. With his unwavering encouragement, I continued to write, honoring my craft and pouring my soul onto the pages. But no matter how confident I felt in my abilities, Ellie's words had a way of seeping into my consciousness. Her disapproval created self-doubt, planting seeds of insecurity within me. I questioned my talent, wondering if maybe I should have chosen a different path, one that would earn her approval. Yet deep down, I knew that my happiness and fulfillment should never be determined by someone else's narrow definition of success. I was a writer, and I had the power to create words, evoke emotions, and inspire change. That was real enough for me. Anyways, Kyle and I got married, and as the years went by, Ellie's criticism only intensified. She couldn't resist the opportunity to demean my profession. During family gatherings or casual conversations, her disdain for my work became a constant backdrop to our interactions, poisoning the air with negativity. So, Zara, how's your writing career going? Any new bestsellers yet? Well, I'm still working on it. It takes time to build a readership and establish myself as an author. I bet. But really, Zara, when are you going to get a real job? How much do you even make with your writing? Well, it's not a huge income, to be honest. Writing can be a tough industry, especially in the beginning. I figured as much. I mean, who can make a living out of scribbling words on a page? It's not like you work for some famous company or anything. It was Kylan's uncle's birthday. We were surrounded by friends and family, and I could tell that Ellie was trying to disparage and discredit me in front of all these people. I began to panic, noticing the smirks and giggles all around me, and I felt helpless. But through it all, Kylan remained my rock, standing by my side with unwavering support. He saw the fire in my eyes when I spoke about my stories and the joy that writing brought to my life. Kylan knew that my passion was genuine, and he celebrated every success, big or small, with me. So, noticing my discomfort, he said, "Mom, that's enough. Zara's career choice is her passion, and she's working hard to make her mark. It's not about the money or the fame. It's about her love for storytelling and the impact she can have on others." Thank you, Kylan. Writing may not bring in a fortune right now, but it brings me fulfillment and happiness, and that's worth more than any paycheck. Well, I suppose if you're content with being a struggling artist, then who am I to argue? At that moment, I realized that defending my passion and standing up for myself was essential. Ellie's negativity couldn't dampen my spirit or diminish the significance of my writing. With Kylan's unwavering support and my own determination, I knew I could overcome any obstacles and prove that my chosen path was not only valid, but worthy of admiration. Despite the toxicity of our relationship, I held on to the hope that Ellie would one day see the value in what I did. I longed for her acceptance, for her to understand that my job was more than just a hobby. It was a part of who I was, an integral piece of my identity. That was until the day she tried to sabotage my career. I was at home as I normally was, working on my books, when Ellie texted me and told me that she was outside. I was, of course, surprised at her impromptu visit. We'd never really hang out, just the two of us, as I'm sure you can imagine, due to her disdain for my career and my stubbornness, as she liked to call it. Nonetheless, I obviously invited her inside, telling her that I had to get some work done, but she was more than welcome to stay. She obliged, despite clearly being irritated that I had to work, and we began to make small talk, which was decent enough. There I was, sitting at my computer, passionately pouring my heart into my writing. It was my escape, my outlet, and the one thing that brought me true joy. But little did I know, my peaceful writing session was about to turn into a battlefield. Throughout our conversation, I excused myself for a quick bathroom break, not suspecting a thing. When I sauntered back into the room, I found myself frozen in my tracks. There she was, Ellie, my charming mother-in-law, lurking over my computer with a mischievous glint in her eyes. It was like stumbling upon an uninvited guest who had taken the liberty to make themselves a little too comfortable. She was hovering over my computer like a vulture eyeing its prey. My heart sank, and anger surged through my veins like wildfire. She saw me coming in but wasn't deterred to stop what she was doing, and as I got closer, my confusion turned to anger as I realized that she was trying to delete my work. What the actual hell, Ellie? What do you think you're doing? Oh, just trying to make a point, Zara. Your writing isn't a real job, you know. I thought I'd give you a reality check. A reality check? Are you kidding me? This is my passion, my dream. You have no right to invade my personal space and sabotage something that means everything to me. Passion and dreams won't pay the bills, sweetheart. It's time you faced reality and found a real job. Reality? This is my reality. Writing is what makes me come alive, what brings me fulfillment. Just because it doesn't fit into your narrow definition of success doesn't mean it's any less valid. Well, good luck with that, dear. Let's see where your little writing escapade gets you. My anger was boiling over. I couldn't hold back any longer. How dare she belittle my dreams, dismiss my hard work, and try to crush my spirit? Even though he wasn't here, Kylan lent me some of his assertiveness. Ellie had declared war on my passion, and I wasn't about to back down. You know what, Ellie? You may not understand or support my choices, but that doesn't give you the right to undermine my work. I won't let your negativity poison my passion any longer. Get out of my house now. Your house? Don't make me laugh. This is my son's house. And it's also my house. Don't believe me? You can check the name on the deed. Fine. Have it your way. But don't say I didn't warn you when you end up with nothing. With that, she stormed out of the house, leaving behind a mix of anger, hurt, and relief. What exactly had gotten into that woman that day? Only God knows. I mean, was that her plan all along? To try and catch me unawares in my home so that she could make her attack? To this day, I don't really know what possessed her to do such a thing, but if I'm being honest, I'm low-key glad that she did, because the day that she did that was the very same day that I was inspired to take action that would have permanent effects. Perhaps that was the only way that she'd learned to leave me alone. As Kylan walked through the front door many hours later, his exhaustion from a long day at work was evident on his face, but as soon as his eyes met mine, he knew something was amiss. I could see the concern etched in his features, and I knew it was time to fill him in on the tumultuous encounter I had with his mother. What happened, Zara? You look upset. So, your mom decided to visit today, and we were talking, but I told her that I had to get some work done because of a deadline. She agreed, and eventually I had to use the bathroom. And, well, when I came back, I found her standing over my computer trying to delete my work. I can't believe she would do something like that. That's beyond disrespectful. I need to call her right now and give her a piece of my mind. No, Kylan. Calling her in the heat of the moment won't solve anything. I have a different idea. What do you mean? What's your plan? Instead of giving her the satisfaction of our reactions, let's show her that her actions won't break us. What do you mean, babe? Let's focus on proving her wrong. I'm going to hit her where it hurts the most. She keeps talking about my writing career like she's obsessed. So let me write a book about her. Kylan was surprisingly okay with the idea. Despite Ellie being his mother, he was on board for teaching her a lesson. That's why he was my rock. He distributed justice to everyone who deserved it, regardless of his relation to them. And at that moment, as we held each other, I knew that together we would face the challenges ahead not only with resilience, but with a renewed determination to pursue my passion and prove Ellie wrong. The very next morning, I sat at my desk, fueled by a newfound determination and a burning desire to tell my story. The idea had sparked in my mind like a flame that couldn't be extinguished. I was going to write a book about my mother-in-law, Ellie. As I poured my anger and frustrations onto the pages, a floodgate of emotions burst open. Every encounter, every snide remark, and every moment of belittlement became a vivid scene in my mind. I channeled my anger into words, crafting a fictional piece that drew heavy inspiration from my own experiences. This would be my catharsis, my way of reclaiming my power. I titled the piece, "The Evil Narcissist That Nobody Likes." It felt fitting, capturing the essence of the woman who had caused me so much pain. The story delved into the toxic dynamics of a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship, exploring themes of manipulation, control, and the struggle for self-identity. It was a story that needed to be told, not just for me, but for others who had suffered under similar circumstances. The days turned into endless nights of writing. Ideas flowed through me like a torrential downpour, filling the pages with raw emotions and gripping narratives. Each sentence, each chapter was a small victory against the power Ellie held over my life. It was my way of reclaiming my voice, of exposing the toxicity that had festered in the shadows for far too long. After months of working and with trembling hands, I finally held the first rough draft of my book. The weight of its significance settled upon me, a mix of pride and vulnerability. This was my story, and I was ready to share it with the world. With newfound courage, I began pitching my book to various publishers, determined to find the right platform to amplify my voice. Rejections and setbacks came, as they often do in the competitive world of publishing, but I refused to let them deter me. I knew that this story needed to be heard and that countless others had faced similar battles with their toxic in-laws. The spark of resilience within me burned brighter with each rejection, pushing me forward. And then, one day, a glimmer of hope emerged. A small publishing house expressed interest in my manuscript. They saw the raw power of the narrative, the authenticity that emanated from every page. Negotiations ensued, and a deal was struck. My book would see the light of day. The journey wasn't over yet. There were revisions to be made and edits to be perfected, but with every revision I felt a sense of liberation, as if each word erased a piece of the pain I had carried for so long. The process was grueling, but the result would be worth it. As I neared the final stages of publication, a sense of empowerment washed over me. I had transformed my pain into art, and my frustrations into a story that would resonate with others. No longer would I be silenced by Ellie's toxic influence. I would reclaim my narrative, pun intended, and in doing so, inspire others to find their voices. I smiled as I held the printed copy of my book in my hands. It was a tangible representation of my resilience, a symbol of the strength I had found within myself. "How are you feeling, champ?" "Honestly, I'm a bit nervous." "Everything that you worked for is for this moment. You did it, and I'm so proud of you." "It's quite odd that you'd think that, considering the way that I tore your mother a new one in my book." "The book is hilarious and it's great, and honestly, she deserves to be knocked down a couple of pegs. And besides, it's not like you used real names, so technically speaking, she shouldn't assume it's about her." "If the shoe fits, right?" I took a deep breath, ready to share my story with the world. Ellie's reign of toxicity may have shaped my past, but it would no longer define my future. With each word, each page, I would rise above her influence, carving my path and finding solace in the power of my voice. As my book hit the shelves, it ignited a firestorm of attention. The response was overwhelming, surpassing even my wildest dreams. The Evil Narcissist That Nobody Likes became a huge success and a bestseller, capturing the hearts and minds of readers across the country. Within the first week alone, thousands of copies flew off the shelves, and the numbers continued to climb as the months went by. With the growing success of my book came a flurry of media appearances. I found myself sitting across talk show hosts, engaging in thought-provoking discussions about the toxic dynamics of mother-in-law relationships. Podcasts invited me to share my journey, my words resonating with listeners who had endured their battles with difficult family members. The world was finally listening, and I felt empowered by the platform I had been given. Yet, amidst the whirlwind of publicity, I couldn't help but notice Ellie's absence. She had become noticeably inactive on social media, and her presence within the family group chat had dwindled. I wondered if she had read my book and if the words I had written had penetrated the wall she had built around herself. Kylan, ever supportive and loyal, informed me that his mother had indeed read the book. However, she remained radio silent, offering no response or acknowledgement of the pain I had laid bare on those pages. It left me questioning whether my words had reached her, whether my vulnerability had touched a chord within her hardened heart. Months passed, and the success of my book continued to soar. The media frenzy intensified, propelling me into the spotlight as the voice for those who had suffered in silence. It was during this time that Ellie finally decided to reach out and call. "Zara, I can't believe you would write such lies about me in your book. How could you make me out to be some sort of monster?" "Ellie, I never mentioned any real names in my book. It's a work of fiction that draws inspiration from various experiences. There are no direct references to you or anyone else. It's a reflection of the broader dynamics that exist in many mother-in-law relationships." "Well, it sure feels like you are targeting me specifically. I can't believe you would stoop so low." "Maybe the reason why you feel targeted is because you know you're guilty." What? How dare you accuse me of... Save it, Ellie. You're a snake and you know it. You're just mad because my book helped you realize that. Our relationship has been strained for a long time, and this was my way of processing and expressing my emotions. It was never meant to attack or defame you personally, but you know how the saying goes, if the shoe fits, then wear it. You've always been dramatic and exaggerated things. I just thought you would have shown some respect for your family and kept our private matters private. Respect goes both ways, Ellie. It's been incredibly hurtful that you haven't even congratulated me on the success I've achieved with the book. But I can't say I'm surprised, since it's triggering you so much. I'm not triggered. Instead of acknowledging the years of pain and frustration I endured, you're focused on feeling attacked. Well, even if what you said was true, you're rich and successful now. You needn't worry about that useless career anymore, and furthermore, you could spare some money for your dear old mother-in-law. You're unbelievable. Your first reaction to my success is to ask for money? I didn't mean it like that, Zara. I just thought maybe you could help me out since you're doing so well. Well, as I recall it, you were so hateful of this same career that has brought me so much success. Didn't you call it a waste of time? A hobby? Not a real job? Well, I didn't mean it like that, Zara, and you know that I like to joke around. You're a pathetic excuse for a woman, and I'm glad that I wrote this book so that the people who can connect the dots will know just how awful you truly are. Ellie tried to reach out on multiple occasions after our phone call. She even tried to get Kylan to ease my temper, but we weren't having any more of her toxic behavior. I was no longer held captive by Ellie's toxic grip. My book not only resonated with readers, but also sparked a transformation within me. I had found my voice, reclaimed my power, and forged a path toward healing and growth. And so, as the chapters of my life unfolded, I realized that my book had become more than a tale of pain and adversity. It had become a catalyst for change, a testament to the power of resilience and the importance of speaking one's truth. Through my writing, I not only liberated myself, but also sparked a dialogue that resonated with countless others. I smiled, knowing that the journey was far from over. With each passing day, I would continue to grow, write, and inspire. The past would always be a part of me, but it would no longer define me. I had found my voice, and I was ready to embrace the future, guided by the light of my own truth. And so I continued to write, with my head held high, ready to face whatever challenges came my way. Because in the end, it wasn't about gaining Ellie's approval. It was about staying true to myself and living a life filled with purpose and passion. Hi there, my name's Felicity and I'm 37 years old. Let me tell you all about an experience I had and how I dealt with it swiftly because I'm not the type of person to get played. Unlike most of the stories I come across on this place, I actually had a decent relationship with my mother-in-law before things came crashing down. Yep, shocking, I know. Things were always great between us. Our relationship was as smooth as silk. Our relationship was filled with warmth, affection, and mutual respect. And as for my husband, Frank, well, he was the love of my life, my partner in crime, and my best friend. Everything appeared to be picture perfect in my eyes, at least. And this isn't me being a delusional or missing any red flags. Sure, we'd have our arguments here and there like any other normal family, but in the end, all was well. And there was no indication that there was an issue of any kind. So I'm sure you can imagine just how shocked I was when this crazy story took place. Maybe someone can help me decipher what exactly the problem was, because to this day, I truly don't know. Let me tell you what went down and why I decided to take revenge on my husband and my mother-in-law for the stunt they pulled on me. You see, I had planned something special for our family. It was originally meant to be a vacation for me and my husband, but I thought about Tiana and how she'd been widowed for quite some time now, 4 years, and how lonely she must have been. I said, why not? And decided to include her in the vacation plans. This would be a trip that I mainly sponsored, with me covering the accommodation, meals and activities, and my husband and Tiana paying for whatever else they saw fit. But essentially, I was covering everything. I wanted to treat Tiana and Frank to a once-in-a-lifetime vacation in Spain. Oh, the thought of strolling through the vibrant streets of Barcelona, indulging in mouth-watering tapas, and basking in the Mediterranean sunshine filled my heart with joy. I thought it would be a wonderful opportunity to create lasting memories and deepen the bond between us. And when I presented them with the idea, they thought so too. I meticulously planned every detail of the trip, from the charming boutique hotel overlooking the stunning coastline to the exhilarating flamenco dance performance we would attend together. The excitement was palpable, and I couldn't wait to surprise Tiana and Frank with this grand adventure. Little did I know that the events that awaited me would shake the very foundation of my trust and shatter the illusion of our perfect little bubble. I was about to embark on a journey that would forever change my perception of family, loyalty, and the depths of human deception. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, my dear readers. Allow me to take you back to that fateful day, the day our dreams of Spain were still brimming with hope and promise. I stood in the living room clutching the plane tickets tightly in my hands, a smile stretching across my face. Frank, Tiana, gather round. I have a surprise for both of you. They exchanged puzzled glances, curiosity etched on their faces. Tiana, with her wise eyes that seemed to hold centuries of wisdom, tilted her head ever so slightly. What's all this excitement about, my dear? With a flourish, I revealed the tickets and shared my plans for the Spanish adventure that awaited us. I watched their expressions closely, hoping to see joy and gratitude reflected in their eyes. Frank's face lit up, his eyes sparkling with anticipation. Felicity, you truly are something else. I can't wait for this incredible trip. Tiana, on the other hand, wore a softer smile, her gaze meeting mine. Oh, my sweet Felicity, you've truly outdone yourself. This is a gift beyond measure. I'm deeply touched. At that moment, my heart swelled with pride and contentment. Their reactions validated the love and effort I had poured into this surprise. I had thought that this vacation would be the glue that bound us even tighter, that it would create unforgettable memories and strengthen the ties that already seemed unbreakable. But, as you might have already suspected, this tale takes a treacherous turn. Beneath the surface of our seemingly idyllic relationship, an intricate net of deceit and betrayal lay in wait, ready to ensnare us all. And when the truth unraveled, it would test the limits of forgiveness and challenge the very essence of family bonds. As planned, we boarded the plane and set off for our 2-week adventure. The anticipation was palpable as we immersed ourselves in the vibrant streets and rich tapestry of Spanish culture. For the first week, everything seemed to be going according to plan. We savored the flavors of paella, wandering through historic landmarks, and danced the night away to the infectious rhythms of flamenco. Laughter and joy filled the air, and I basked in the belief that our bond was unbreakable. However, little did I know that a storm was brewing on the horizon, waiting to unleash its fury upon my unsuspecting heart. It was on a fateful Monday morning, and as the sun bathed the city in its golden hues, that I woke up to find an empty hotel room. Confusion and a growing sense of unease gripped my heart. Frantically, I reached for the phone, dialing both my husband's and Tiana's numbers, hoping for an explanation. I mean, it was crazy. They just poofed into thin air. But to my dismay, their phones remained silent, their voices absent. Fear began to claw at the edges of my mind as I searched for the empty room for any sign of their presence. There were no notes, no bags, no traces of disturbances or struggle, just an unsettling silence that hung heavy in the air. It looked like I had booked this family unit all to myself. As the minutes turned into an eternity, questions flooded my mind. Had they lost their way? Had they been taken against their will? But the absence of any evidence ruled out these possibilities. A chill ran down my spine as I reluctantly accepted the truth. I was left alone in a foreign land. Just as despair threatened to consume me, a glimmer of hope pierced through the darkness. My phone buzzed, signaling an incoming call. It was Tiana. Relief washed over me, mingled with confusion and a deep sense of hurt. How could she leave without a word? With trepidation, I answered the call, my voice filled with a mix of concern and disbelief. Tiana, where are you? What happened? Tiana's voice, tinged with a strange mix of resignation and frustration, reached my ears, but she didn't sound like the same old sweet lady that I always loved. No, her voice sounded a bit colder. Felicity, I thought that I should at least call you back since you were blowing up my phone with your incessant calls. Oh, I'm sorry for disturbing you. I was just wondering where you two went. Your bags aren't here. I was just concerned that something bad had happened. Then she said these next words with so much indifference that they shook me to the core. We left you. But why? What happened? I'm sorry, I couldn't bear to spend another week in your company, so I had to leave. What are you talking about? Did I do something wrong? Yes, I mean, how could you be so dense? Dense? Excuse me? You sprung up this trip on me, practically forcing me to go with you, and I just couldn't remain disingenuous any longer. Let me spell it out clearly for you, Felicity. I don't enjoy your company. Sure, we can spend a couple of hours together at a family event, but 2 weeks? I tried to be civil and grace you with my presence for as long as I could, and it turns out that I could only muster 1 week with you before I lost my mind. I'm sorry, but I'm on the way to the airport with Frank right now. We can't be around you any longer. Shock reverberated through my core. The revelation struck me like a bolt of lightning, unraveling the threads of trust I had so naively woven. How could our bond, seemingly unbreakable, crumble beneath the weight of unspoken grievances? Questions flooded my mind as I grappled with this harsh reality. What had I done wrong? What exactly did I do to deserve such harshness? How did things escalate to this point? Was there no chance for reconciliation? Confusion and heartache intertwined within me, the pain of betrayal seeping deep into my soul. Well, I didn't know that you felt this way, Tiana, honestly. And you had no reason to. I always led you to assume that things were fine and dandy between us. Then why not bring that up? Why not sit me down so that we could hash out whatever problem there was between us? Because if I'm being honest, I still don't know what I've done to wrong you. Well, that's the thing. I just can't put my finger on it, but you just irk me. What? That's the most childish thing I've ever heard. You can't stand me just because of an inexplicable irk? Grow up, Tiana. I thought I offended you or something, but I didn't do anything wrong, right? Well, not necessarily, but it doesn't matter. What matters is how I feel about you. And I feel that you're annoying and I just can't stand being around you. If that's the case, then why did you say yes to coming with us on this trip? Because it was a free trip to Spain. No one is going to turn down that opportunity. But as the days went by, I grew more and more tired of your antics. What antics, Tiana? What did I do that was so bad that you decided to leave me all alone in a foreign country? She was failing to answer, and I was growing more impatient with this impromptu disdain that was coming out of nowhere. I was shocked, hurt, confused, and angry, but most of all, I was just sad. I had to inquire about my beloved husband and what he had to say in all of this. Let me speak to Frank. Casually and easily, Tiana passed the phone on to Frank, who I can assume was listening in on the entire conversation. He sounds just as indifferent and cold as his mother. Hello? Really, Frank, you decided to leave me too? I didn't leave you because I don't like you. I left because my mom needed me to take her home. So you knew about all of this? Well, I mean, how long have you known about your mother's apparent hatred towards me? For some time now. I was hoping this trip would bring her closer to you, but I was wrong. Okay, but what I'm failing to understand is why none of you approached me about this. We're all adults, aren't we? Meaning if there's an issue, we solve it. It's not like we haven't had arguments in the past, no. We sat down and we solved these arguments. What's different about this time? Frank was failing to answer, just like his mother moments ago. The only thing I can safely conclude about this entire stupid debacle is that your mother hates me for a silly reason, which she knows isn't valid. Maybe she's jealous of me or something. Maybe I have something that she can't have. And she knows that she can't speak up about it without sounding foolish. So she's beating around the bush as to what exactly the problem is. Am I correct in assuming that? I took their resounding silence as a big fat yes. Well, I can say that I'm honestly shocked. I didn't know that you two felt this way about me. I hope you have a safe flight back home. I cut the call. Pacing around the hotel room, still trying to wrap my head around what exactly the issue was, I began to sob, wondering if what I did to deserve this treatment. But 37 years on this planet has taught me that sometimes people will hate on you for seemingly no good reason. They're jealous or bitter because they see you at peace with yourself, and that makes them enraged because they are struggling with their self-worth. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's experienced this. But if I'm being honest, the last people I expected this behavior from were my own family. After sobbing for some time, I had an epiphany. Let me take you back to that fateful moment when I decided to take control of my destiny and seek vengeance against these two who had wronged me for no good reason. It was a pivotal moment that would forever change the course of my life. As I wiped away my tears, a newfound determination welled up within me. I refused to waste any more of my precious emotions on their pathetic actions. No, it was time to show them that they could not trample over my heart and get away with it. With my trembling fingers, I dialed the number of my childhood friend, Arlo. We had been through thick and thin together, and I knew I could trust him with my darkest secrets. After pouring out my heart to him and explaining the painful betrayal I had experienced in Spain, I cautiously asked if he could assist me in my quest for justice. Arlo, always the loyal and mischievous friend, listened intently, his voice filled with a mix of concern and excitement, reassuring me that he had my back. Felicity, my dear friend, you're a force to be reckoned with. And you know you can count on me for anything and everything, so what are you planning on doing? Well, Arlo, you know how your construction company always has excess sawdust? Yes, it can be quite a hassle to get rid of sometimes. Well, I think I finally have the perfect use for it. His curiosity was piqued, and my plan tumbled out like a carefully created script, describing how we would orchestrate the ultimate act of retaliation. My plan involved delivering bags of sawdust to Tiana's house, infiltrating every corner and crevice, and leaving an indelible mark of chaos and betrayal. Arlo couldn't help but smile at the brilliance of my idea. It was a subtle yet impactful way to remind Tiana of the stress she had just now unleashed upon my life. Armed with Arlo's expertise and my newfound determination, we set our plan into motion. But how will we get inside the house before they arrive back home? You need to get the spare key hidden under the potted plant that's on the patio. Then you'll be in. Wow, you thought of everything, huh? I'm not the one to be played with. I think I'm a reasonable woman, but if they want to go lower and act childish, then I'll go even lower. Atta girl. As the hours ticked by, anticipation swirled within me. Arlo had assured me that the mission was complete, and soon I would waitress the fallout of our carefully orchestrated chaos. And then, like a sweet melody in my ear, my phone chimed, indicating a message from Arlo. I eagerly opened the pictures he had sent, and there it was, a sight to behold. Tiana's once pristine home now resembled a post-apocalyptic wasteland, drowned in a sea of sawdust. Every nook and cranny had been touched by our mischievous hands. It was a scene straight out of a surrealistic painting, an embodiment of the chaos that had unfolded in our lives. I called Arlo, and his laughter echoed through the phone, and I couldn't help but join in. It was a cathartic release, a shared moment of triumph against those who had betrayed me. I expressed my heartfelt gratitude to Arlo, acknowledging his willingness to tread the path of mischief with me. He simply said, "Naughty can be so satisfying, my friend." As the clock ticked away, I could feel the tension building within me. How would Frank and Tiana react when they walked through the doors of their once beloved home? The anticipation was almost unbearable. A heady mix of nevers and vindication, I couldn't help but relish in the thought of their bewildered faces and disarrayed emotions. Hours later, my phone erupted with frantic energy. It was Frank, his voice laced with panic and disbelief. He described the scene that awaited them, the sawdust-covered house that stood as a testament to their betrayal. My heart danced with wicked delight as I listened to his exasperated voice. At that moment, I knew that the message had been received loud and clear. Their actions had consequences, and the chaos they had sown had come back to haunt them. Frank's panicked words were like sweet music to my ears, a validation of the power I had reclaimed. "Oh, Felicity, it's just awful. Mom is in hysterics." I decided to reveal the part that I had played in this and said, "It serves both of you right. How could you leave me here alone? Without a valid reason, no less." Wait, Felicity? Was this your doing? The wailing and panic I heard in the background stopped, and instead, I approached Frank's phone. I heard my mother-in-law say, "Give me that," before shouting in my ear, "You do this? How could you do this to us? To me? I have no idea what you're talking about. Have you considered that this is just your karma?" "Oh, come on, Felicity. We all know it was you. Who else would have access to my home? It's very easy to break in and enter someone's home nowadays. Tiana, especially if you don't have any security cameras installed, which, by the way, should seriously consider doing to prevent things like this from happening again. Honestly, Felicity, how can you do this to us? Where are we supposed to sleep? This sawdust is making my lungs ache." "Oh, that's right. You probably forgot to get the keys to my nose house, huh? Well, that's a shame. I'm guessing you two are going to have to stay in yet another hotel." "But for how long?" "Until I decide to come back from my vacation. I paid for 2 weeks after all, and who knows, I might feel greedy and decide to extend my stay." Frank then took the phone from Tiana, and she began to bawl once again, mourning her ruined furniture. "Felicity, this was foul. How could you do this?" "I don't know why you're assuming that I had anything to do with this. How could I? I'm currently relaxing in the hotel jacuzzi. How could I have done this?" I held back my laughter as the second of them were clearly confused as to what had happened. Even though they suspected I had something to do with it, which I obviously did. But they didn't have any solid proof, so I was basking in all the glory of knowing that they were frustrated, but they had nowhere to direct their anger. As I bid Frank farewell on the phone, a sense of contentment washed over me. I had taken control of my narrative, leaving them to grapple with the consequences of their actions. I know what I did was quite foul, and even quite dangerous considering how old Tiana is. Spending even a night in that house could lead to serious health consequences. But I knew that they wouldn't dare dream of staying there. It was too sabotaged to be habitable. They just had to rely on staying in a hotel for a little bit longer because I didn't want my money to go to waste. I stayed that extra week in Spain, enjoying the culture as I intended, whilst my husband and my mother-in-law were undoubtedly worried, trying to find a cleaning company that would take on such a daunting task. I didn't know how long it would take to get the house professionally cleaned, but I knew that in the meantime, my mother-in-law would have to stay with us in my home. And I know that she would just be irritated the whole time since she apparently can't stand my company. This should serve as a reminder to some of you all that some people need to learn the hard way. And if it just so happens that you can dish out your own justice, then by all means go ahead and do it and really give people something to be mad about. I'm Megan, and I'm 25, female. From the moment I met Vlad, I knew that our love would be tested by the storm that was Olga, his mother. The stories I had heard about mother-in-laws paled in comparison to the reality I faced. Olga had a way of making every interaction a battle, every word a weapon. It seemed she took pleasure in tearing me down, finding fault in everything I did or said. One fateful day, Vlad informed me that he had to embark on a business trip that would keep him away for 4 days. While I dreaded the thought of being alone in that house, I saw it as an opportunity to prove myself worthy of being part of Vlad's life by getting to know Olga better. Perhaps I could bridge the divide that separated us. I convinced myself that with a little kindness, I could thaw the ice in her heart. After Vlad had been gone for 2 days, I decided that I wanted to reach out to Olga. I wanted to extend the olive branch and put in the effort to at least have a civil relationship. I called her. "Olga, it's Megan. I hope you're doing well." "Oh, what do you want?" "I wanted to reach out because I've been thinking a lot about our relationship lately, and I genuinely want to mend the rift between us. I thought it would be nice if you could come over to our house and spend some time together. Maybe we could have a cup of tea and chat, just the two of us. Megan, I have more important things to do than waste my time with you. Your attempts at building a connection with me are laughable. Besides, I doubt you can even make a decent cup of tea. Olga, please hear me out. Till this day, I'm not sure what I did to you, but I'm willing to put in the effort to make things better between us. Let me prove it to you by making your favorite Russian dessert, medovik. I know it's a cherished recipe from your mother, and I want to honor that tradition. It would mean a lot to me if you could join me for tea and enjoy this special treat together. Medovik? Ha! You think your American hands are capable of handling such a delicate and intricate dessert? You clearly don't understand the art of Russian cuisine. Spare me your feeble attempts at playing the perfect daughter-in-law, when we both know that you are far from that. Don't bother me again with your pitiful gestures. Before I could even reply to what she said to me, she had already cut the call. I surprised myself when I was wiping my tears away. My silent cries served as a good indicator that I was complacent in her attacks against me. But what could I do? She was so domineering and aggressive with me, and I am not used to confrontation. For the rest of Vlad's trip, I obeyed my mother-in-law and didn't bother reaching out to see if she was okay, since that was what she wanted. It had been 5 days, and I was expecting my man to come through the door any second now. But instead, I got a call from him. Hey, Megan, I have some news. I'm really sorry, but I have to stay an extra day on this business trip. There's a work emergency that needs my attention. I hope you understand. Oh, Vlad, I understand. Sometimes we can't escape these things. Is everything all right? If I'm being honest, I don't know. I overheard some of my bosses talking about letting some people go. Maybe it's about that. Oh, no, that's awful. I hope you're not one of them. Me too, babe. That's why I gotta stay for this emergency thing, to show them I'm a team player. I get it, babe. Don't worry, I survived 4 days without you. I think I can survive one more. Here's the thing, though. I was supposed to give some money to my mother today, and since I won't be able to do it personally, I was wondering if you could help me out. I know it's a lot to ask, but I trust you, and I would appreciate it if you could give her the money on my behalf. Of course, Vlad. I'm more than happy to help, you know that. But, I have to be honest with you. I tried reaching out to your mother a couple of days ago. I wanted to invite her over, hoping we could enjoy each other's company. I even offered to make her medovik, but it didn't go well, Vlad. She shouted at me and made me feel worthless. Oh, Megan, I'm so sorry. I wish I could say I'm surprised, but that's how she always is. Please don't let her words get to you. I know it's tough, but we'll figure this out together. I'll talk to her and try to tame her beastly behavior. You don't deserve to be treated like this. Thank you, Vlad. Your understanding means the world to me. I'll give your mother the money as you requested, but I can't help but feel anxious about how she'll react. I just want things to be better between us. I understand, Megan. We'll work through this. You've shown so much kindness and love, even in the face of her hostility. I'm grateful to have you by my side. Let's hope that one day she'll realize how lucky she is to have you as her daughter-in-law. We ended the call with virtual hugs and kisses, and what was meant to be a relaxing day where I expected my husband to come home quickly turned into a nightmare where I dreaded the inevitable appearance of my mother-in-law. As the clock ticked closer to Olga's arrival, my nerves grew tense. I meticulously prepared the money and rehearsed the words I would say, hoping for a peaceful exchange. But deep down, I knew that Olga had a knack for turning any situation into chaos. When she finally arrived, the air in the room grew heavy with tension. I plastered a smile on my face, hoping to diffuse the brewing storm. I handed her the envelope containing the money, hoping for a civil interaction, a glimpse of acceptance. But before I could even utter a word, Olga's face twisted into a scowl and she unleashed her pent-up anger. How dare you steal from my son? What? No, Olga, I didn't steal anything. Vlad asked me to give you the money because he couldn't be here himself. I was just trying to help. Help? You? Don't make me laugh. You're nothing but a thief trying to take advantage of my son. I never believed you had any means of income. You're just trying to rob us blind. Olga, please listen to me. I would never do anything to harm Vlad or take advantage of him. I love him. I'm his wife, and I want us to have a good relationship. I tried reaching out to you, to connect with you, but all you did was shout at me and push me away. Connect with me? Ha! As if there's anything to connect. You should never have bothered me with your presence. And what's this I'm hearing of you telling Vlad that I was mistreating you? So now you're cowering under my son as some sort of shield? Olga, I expressed my concerns about our relationship and hoped for a better future. Is that so wrong? There is no relationship between us, Megan. You're nothing more than an obstacle standing in my way. This money was meant for me to buy groceries, but I will never receive money from you. I'd rather starve than accept anything from someone I'm so disgusted with. I don't understand why you treat me this way. I've tried my best to show kindness, to bridge the gap between us. All I wanted was for us to have a loving family, but it seems impossible. It hurts so much, Olga. I can't take this anymore. Get out of my house. Olga was momentarily stunned by my outburst. Her face twisted in disbelief, but I stood my ground, my voice shaking with determination. She reluctantly gathered her belongings and made her way toward the door. A mixture of anger and hurt etched on her face. She accused me of stealing from her son. The words cut through me like shards of glass, leaving wounds that went beyond the surface. In her eyes, I was a thief, unworthy of her son's hard-earned money. I was enraged. It was one thing being berated constantly, but accusing me of stealing? That was a new low for Olga. I had done nothing but try to help, to bridge the divide between us, and now she had shattered any hope of peaceful coexistence. Anger mixed with hurt fueled my determination to stand my ground. In the days that followed, Vlad returned from his business trip. My heart leapt with joy at the sight of him, but my excitement quickly faded when I saw the weariness in his eyes. Something was wrong, and I could feel it in my bones. Vlad! What's wrong? You seem upset. Megan, I lost my job. They had to make cuts, like I told you about, and I was one of the casualties. My heart sank, matching the weight of his words. Losing his job meant losing stability and financial security. Panic gripped me momentarily, but then a sense of determination washed over me. If I had to be the rock in this storm, then so be it. I wrapped my arms around him, holding him tightly. Vlad, we'll get through this together. We'll find a way. We always do. Megan, you've always been my rock. Now more than ever, we need each other. I'm sorry for all the stress you've endured with my mother. I promise to support you in every way I can. His words soothed my soul, reminding me of the love that bound us together. We were a team, facing life's challenges head on. At that moment, I knew that we would conquer whatever came our way. Days turned into weeks, and I embraced my new role as the breadwinner of the family. I poured my energy into my field of work, exploring more opportunities and ensuring that our ship stayed afloat. Vlad, ever supportive, took on the role of a caring homemaker, tending to our home and offering emotional support while he also looked for a job. Though the wound caused by Olga's hurtful accusations still throbbed, I refused to let it consume me. Our focus was on building a better future, not dwelling on the past. We stood tall, united against any obstacle that dared cross our path. Eventually, after several months of this new dynamic, I began to thrive in my career. I got a promotion and a huge bonus, which I then used to invest in my business ventures because I wanted to become independent at some point. As I embraced my role as the breadwinner, a new sense of purpose filled my days. My career began to flourish, and I found myself excelling in ways I never thought possible. The financial success I achieved fueled my ambition and ignited a spark of entrepreneurship within me. With my newfound financial stability, I started exploring opportunities to pursue my dream of owning a cafe. The thought of leaving my job and venturing into a business of my own brought both excitement and trepidation, but I was determined to make it a reality. Every spare moment was dedicated to researching, planning, and saving. I pored over business strategies, visited potential locations, and carefully calculated the costs involved. It was a daunting endeavor, but the thought of creating something of my own filled me with boundless energy. Meanwhile, Vlad faced the reality of his changed circumstances. He used to financially support his mother, ensuring her needs were met. But with the loss of his job, he could no longer provide the same level of financial assistance. It was a difficult adjustment for him, but he stood firm in prioritizing our future together. One day, Olga reached out to Vlad, her voice tinged with hesitation. She asked if he could send her money just as he had done in the past. I happened to be in the room when he received the call, listening intently to the conversation. Vlad hesitated for a moment, glancing at me with a mixture of concern and determination. He took a deep breath and spoke with unwavering honesty. "Mom, I can't send you money anymore. I've hit a rough patch, and Megan has been shouldering the financial burden. If you need, perhaps you should consider reaching out to her." Silence hung in the air for a few seconds as Olga processed his words. Eventually, she responded, her voice hesitant. I'll think about it." It was a pivotal moment and a potential turning point in our relationship with Olga. While I understood Vlad's decision and had prepared myself for the possibility, I couldn't help but feel a mix of apprehension and curiosity about what Olga's response might ultimately be. As the weeks turned into months, my financial stability continued to soar. Through hard work, determination, and a touch of good fortune, I found myself accumulating wealth at an astonishing rate. The struggles of the past seemed distant memories as I embraced a life of comfort and security. With my newfound prosperity, I was able to support our household without any financial worries. The weight of the financial burden had been lifted from Vlad's shoulders, allowing him to focus on his own journey of self-discovery and finding new career opportunities. One day, while going about my daily routine, Olga appeared at our doorstep, a sheepish look on her face. She hesitated for a moment before finally gathering the courage to speak. Her voice filled with vulnerability. "Megan, I need your help. Could you spare some money?" A smile tugged at the corners of my lips as I realized the irony of the situation. I excused myself briefly, disappearing into another room. I returned with an envelope in hand and extended it to Olga. "Here you go." Olga's eyes lit up, her joy evident as she eagerly accepted the envelope, but as her fingers touched the surface, her expression shifted from delight to confusion. The realization struck her like a bolt of lightning, and her voice quivered with disbelief. Why is the envelope empty?" A calm yet firm smile played on my lips as I met Olga's gaze. "Do you remember, Olga? You once said to me that you would rather starve than accept money from me." Her face paled, and she stumbled over her words, desperately attempting to backtrack and deny her previous statements, but it was too late. The years of her cruel treatment, the hurtful words, and the constant belittlement had taken their toll. With the fire in my eyes, I confronted her, my voice echoing with the frustration and pain that had simmered within me for far too long. "You cannot pretend to be kind now, Olga, after treating me with nothing but contempt and cruelty. You've shown your true colors, and no amount of empty apologies can undo the damage you've caused. The next time you think about being so ugly and callous to someone, think about it long and hard before you do, because you might end up at their doorstep, groveling and begging for something." Olga huffed and puffed in frustration, her face a mix of anger and bewilderment. She was at a loss, unsure of how to respond or what to do next. But at that moment, I found my voice and spoke my truth, no longer willing to be silenced by her toxicity. "For all those years, Olga, you were nothing but evil to me. Your words and actions have wounded me deeply, and I refuse to allow you to continue exerting power over my life. From this moment forward, I will no longer tolerate your presence in my life. You might be my mother-in-law, but you're dead to me." Silence hung heavy in the air as Olga absorbed my words, her face etched with a mixture of shock and indignation. And as she reluctantly turned to leave, I felt a sense of liberation wash over me. I confronted the source of my pain and asserted my worth. "Oh, Olga, wait, I have another surprise for you." She turned back around, with hope in her eyes. "I'm sure your son has told you that I'm planning on opening a cafe. Would you like to know what it's called?" "What is it?" "Medovic." She gasped in complete shock, and I could see that she wanted to be part of this new business venture, or, at the very least, try the baked goods that I was going to serve. "And you're not allowed to come. Sorry." Olga's face fell for the second time during this encounter, and finally, after being defeated, she skulked away, leaving just as she had come, with her dignity nowhere to be found. As I moved forward with my life, free from the toxic presence of Olga, a new chapter was waiting to be written. I embarked on a journey to bring Medovic, my very own cafe, to life. The name was a nod to Vlad's Russian heritage and the signature honey cake that became our specialty. The process of establishing Medovic was not without its challenges, but fueled by my passion and determination, I poured my heart and soul into every aspect of the cafe. From meticulously selecting the finest ingredients to designing a warm and inviting space, I strived to create an experience that would captivate the senses and leave a lasting impression on our patrons. And to my delight, Medovic quickly became a resounding success. Word of mouth spread, drawing customers from near and far who were eager to indulge in the delectable treats we offered. The cafe buzzed with laughter, conversation, and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and freshly baked pastries. It was a dream come true. Throughout this journey, Olga made several attempts to worm her way back into my good graces. She realized the error of her ways and sought forgiveness, but I had grown wise to her manipulative tactics and had no intention of allowing her negativity back into my life. Each time she approached me, I firmly and resolutely shut her out, refusing to be swayed by false apologies or empty promises. Vlad, my unwavering source of support, stood by my side throughout it all. He understood the pain I had endured at the hands of his mother and was relieved to see me taking a stand for my well-being. Despite his familial ties, he shared my sentiments and was glad that Olga was finally being held accountable for her actions. Together, Vlad and I worked tirelessly in the cafe, finding solace and fulfillment in our shared passion. As we witnessed the cafe flourish and our dreams come to fruition, we realized that our wealth was not just measured in monetary terms, but in the joy and satisfaction we derived from pursuing our true passions. Gone were the days of being confused by the negativity and toxicity that had plagued our lives. We had chosen to embrace a simpler yet more fulfilling existence, one that allowed us to focus on what truly mattered: love, happiness, and pursuing our dreams. As the years went by, Medovic continued to thrive, becoming a beloved gathering spot for the community. The cafe became more than just a business. It became our home. And so my journey carried on, not only as a successful cafe owner, but as a person who had reclaimed their sense of self-worth and forged their path. With Olga's negativity banished from my life, I was able to embrace the beauty of the present and look forward to a future filled with endless possibilities. In the warm embrace of Medovic and the love of Vlad, I found my version of happiness, free from the shackles of toxic relationships. And with each passing day, I reveled in the knowledge that I had not only built a successful business, but had also crafted a life that was truly my own. Though the journey ahead would still hold its share of challenges, I knew that I had taken a significant step towards reclaiming my peace and creating a life defined by love, support, and self-worth. And with Vlad by my side, we would continue to build a future that was free from the toxic influence of Olga and filled with the happiness and fulfillment we both deserved. My name is Kelly, and my life was forever changed when my husband Jerry abandoned me with his ailing parents and embarked on a 2-year vacation. Little did I know that he would show up only to claim his inheritance. But as fate would have it, I had a trick up my sleeve, and what unfolded was a satisfying and juicy revenge. Jerry and I were once deeply in love, or so I thought. Our story began with us meeting through a dating app. My ex-husband had passed away after a long battle with cancer, and after 5 years of grieving, my friends convinced me to start dating again. Jerry and I had texted for a long time before finally deciding to meet up for a date. One date led to another and then to another until 2 years later Jerry proposed to me. Jerry made sure to involve my daughter Kimmy in everything. Kimmy was only 5 years old when her biological father passed away. However, Kimmy and Jerry took a great liking to each other and were practically inseparable. It was truly a dream come true for me. Together, Jerry and I dreamed bigger dreams, dreams of a blissful life together, raising our daughter Kimmy, owning a house, vacationing to other countries, etc. However, 6 years into our marriage, both of his parents, Bertha and Larry, were afflicted by severe illnesses, requiring constant attention and medical care. Jerry asked me if it would be possible for us to take care of them together. Babe, I kind of have a big request to make. What is it, Jer? So, you know how my parents are currently not in the best of health, right? Yeah, they both have a lot going on. I feel so bad for them. I wish I could help them out. Yeah, about that. I was thinking about it, and they're my parents, Kelly. I can't abandon them. They need a lot of care right now, and neither of them can take care of themselves, let alone each other. I know, darling. That's why we decided on putting them in an old age home. They'll be well taken care of. If your ask is going to be about the money required, don't worry, we'll pitch to the best of our ability. No, Kelly, it's not about that. I was thinking of something else. What are you trying to say, Jer? Just spit it out. I was actually going to ask if it would be possible to have my parents move in and we take care of them. Oh, Jer, I don't know. I'm already swamped with work and raising Kimmy. I really want to, but... Oh, no, darling, you won't be doing it all alone. They're my parents, so I will definitely be doing just the same amount of work as you, if not more. I promise. Oh, what the hell. Okay, I love Bertha and Larry. Plus, I think Kimmy would love to live with her grandparents. Thanks a lot, Kelly. I promise I won't let you down. You better not. Having taken care of my ex-husband for quite a while, I had some experience being a caregiver. Bertha suffered from a debilitating autoimmune disease which left her bedridden and reliant on specialized treatments. Larry, on the other hand, battled a chronic heart condition that required constant monitoring and medication adjustments. Their fragile health became the center of our lives, as their deteriorating conditions necessitated round-the-clock care. At first, Jerry seemed committed to the cause. We worked together tirelessly, juggling work, parenting, and the care of his parents. I'll admit it wasn't easy. Countless sleepless nights, hospital visits, and emotional stress became our new reality. But we soldiered on, driven by the love we had for Bertha and Larry and the desire to provide them with the care they deserved. For a while, we managed to find strength in each other, but as the months wore on, a troubling shift began to occur. Jerry's once unwavering commitment to his parents started to wane. It started with missed doctor's appointments, excuses of being too busy, and a growing disinterest in their well-being. I could see the strain that this put on Bertha and Larry, and I felt my heart breaking for them. As the months turned into years, Jerry's withdrawal from his responsibilities became more apparent. He began spending more time away, claiming business trips and other obligations that conveniently kept him from being present. The burden fell heavily on my shoulders as I tried to balance work, parenting, and the increasing needs of his parents. Amid the chaos, I could see the toll it took on Bertha and Larry. Their faces mirrored a sense of disappointment as the son they had raised seemed to be slipping away. Their health continued to deteriorate, and their need for care only intensified. Yet Jerry seemed more preoccupied with his own pursuits, detached from the pain and suffering that surrounded him. 2 years into being his parents' caregivers, Jerry told us that he would be away on another business trip for 2 weeks. A huge argument between Jerry and Kimmy and I ensued. Jerry, how can you just leave us like this? Your parents need us and you're walking out the door without a care in the world? Oh, here we go again, always making it seem like I'm the bad guy. I have important work to attend to. Kelly, it's not like I'm abandoning them forever. Dad, you can't just keep leaving us like this. Grandma and Grandpa need us and you're never here. It's not fair. You think I don't know that? Do you think I enjoy being away? I have responsibilities too, you know. I can't always drop everything just because they're sick. Responsibilities? What responsibilities, Jerry? You've been absent for months. Your parents are suffering. And you're nowhere to be found. It's like you don't even care anymore. Don't you dare accuse me of not caring. I'm doing the best I can to balance everything. I have a career to maintain. And it's not easy juggling it all. It's not about juggling, Dad. It's about being there for your own family. We need you. And your parents need you. But you're always putting yourself first. That's not fair, Kimmy. I'm doing this for all of us to provide a better life. Can't you see that? A better life? Is that what you call leaving your parents when they need us the most? You're abandoning them, Jerry, and it's tearing our family apart. Maybe if you took better care of them, I wouldn't have to constantly be the one to step in. You're always making me out to be the villain, but you're not perfect either. That's not true, Dad. Mom has been taking care of Grandma and Grandpa all by herself. She's been doing everything she can to make sure they're comfortable. Kimmy's right, Jerry. I've been doing everything in my power to care for your parents. I've sacrificed so much for them, and I thought you would be by my side. Well, maybe I've had enough of sacrificing. Maybe I'm tired of putting their needs before my own. Maybe it's time for you to figure out how to handle things on your own. Is that what you're saying, Jerry? That you're done with us? Done with your own parents? I never thought I would hear those words from you. Maybe it's time for a reality check, Kelly. This isn't the life I signed up for. I need some space to figure things out. Jerry stormed off into our bedroom and began packing his things. Without saying another word, he left us for his business trip. Looking back, Kimmy and I always felt guilty for being the reason that Jerry left us on that fateful night. We spent countless nights crying to each other about it. We tried our hardest to get back in contact with him, but to no avail. The 2 weeks eventually became 2 months. Bertha and Larry took their son's departure even harder. Their health only worsened as time passed, making it even more difficult for me. I was left to shoulder the immense burden of caregiving alone. The days blended into a blur of hospital visits, medication schedules, and endless household chores. Eventually, as months turned to a year, I decided to stop grieving about the loss of yet another husband and entirely devoted my time and energy to taking care of my in-laws and raising my daughter. It got harder trying to balance it all alone. I often went nights without any sleep or rest. But despite the overwhelming weight on my shoulders, I refused to let any bitterness consume me. My love for Bertha and Larry and my dedication to ensuring their comfort drove me forward. With Jerry's absence, I found solace in my role as the pillar of strength for Bertha, Larry, and Kimmy. Days turned into nights and nights into months. I became well-versed in administering medications, handling medical equipment, and organizing a meticulous care routine. Bertha and Larry began to rely on me, not just as a daughter-in-law, but as their primary caregiver. While it was an exhausting journey, the bond between us grew stronger as they recognized my unwavering commitment to their care. Through it all, Kimmy stood by my side. Though she was young, her empathy and maturity shone through. She became a pillar of support for me, offering a listening ear and a loving presence during the darkest times. Kimmy's heart broke for her grandparents, and she formed a deep bond with them. understanding the weight of their illnesses and the significance of the love and care they needed. The four of us together created a haven of love and support amidst the chaos. After 2 years of relentless dedication and sacrifice, Jerry reappeared in our lives driven by greed I never thought possible. He had his eyes set on the inheritance left behind by his parents, but I held the key to his downfall. You see, during his absence, Bertha and Larry had asked me to recognize their financial and legal affairs, ensuring that their inheritance would be protected from any potential harm. They also asked that all estates that were meant to be given to Jerry be transferred to Kimmy and me. Touched by Bertha and Larry's trust and undying love and support for me, I did everything they asked me to and more. I felt appreciated for all the hours I spent taking care of them. While getting all their documents rearranged, I decided to contact the private investigator I had hired to keep watch on my husband, Jerry. As naive as it sounds, I did not want to necessarily leave Jerry nothing. I completely understood how the pressure of taking care of his aged parents could have gotten to him. In no way would I have negotiated a significant inheritance for him, just a little as an obligation. However, that thought process got quickly shut down when my private investigator revealed to me the actions of my husband during the period that he abandoned us. Let me give you a little backstory to my hiring of a private investigator. I had become suspicious of Jerry's motives long before he vanished from our lives. Something about his sudden disinterest in his parents' well-being and his incessant excuses didn't sit right with me. With that gnawing intuition, I took it upon myself to investigate further. I delved into the financial records and legal documents and found multiple transactions to an unknown account. When I confronted Jerry about this, we got into one of the biggest arguments in our relationship. Jerry, we need to talk. I've been looking into the financial records and I found some transactions to an unknown number. Can you explain what this is all about? Look, it's none of your business. Why are you snooping around and digging into things that don't concern you? Jerry, these transactions directly affect your parents and their well-being. I deserve to know what's going on. Are you hiding something from me? I told you it's nothing. Stop interrogating me and invading my privacy. Can't you just trust me for once? Trust you? Jerry, your parents need us, and if you're involved in something that could potentially harm them, I have every right to know. This affects our entire family. You're blowing this up out of proportion, Kelly. It's a misunderstanding, and you're always jumping to conclusions. I can't take this anymore. Jerry, don't you see? Your sudden disinterest in your parents, the mysterious transactions. Something isn't right. We're a team, and we need to address this together. Address what, Kelly? There's nothing to address. I'm tired of your accusations and constant meddling. Maybe I should just leave if you can't trust me. Leave? Are you serious, Jerry? You're willing to abandon your parents and your family because you refuse to answer a simple question? Is that the kind of person you've become? You're pushing me to my limit, Kelly. I can't handle your constant suspicion and lack of faith in me. If you can't accept that, then maybe we're better off apart. Tired of Jerry's lies and lack of involvement in his parents' care, I decided to hire a private investigator. The reports I got seemed mundane and nothing out of the ordinary, which made me heavily regret my decision. The guilt of my actions, along with the stress of taking care of my in-laws and raising my daughter, made me let go of the PIs, however. After Jerry left us without a word, I rehired my PI and had him silently collect data until I asked for it. I had almost forgotten about it until Bertha and Larry brought up their paperwork. Now, armed with new information, I vowed to myself that if Jerry were to show up again, I would make his life a living hell. So when Jerry reappeared in our lives, I was prepared to fulfill my promise to myself. He walked back into our houses as if he hadn't abandoned us for the past 2 years. Without so much as a look at his parents and a glance at Kimmy, he made a beeline straight to me. Kelly, it's about time we had a serious conversation. I'm back now, and I expect my rightful share of the inheritance from my parents. Are you kidding me, Jerry? After all this, that's the first thing you have to say? No concern for your parents, no acknowledgement of your absence? Just your share of the inheritance? Look, I don't have time for sentimentalities. I left to pursue my interests, and now I'm back to claim what's rightfully mine. You should be grateful. I even came back. Grateful? Grateful for what, Jerry? For abandoning your parents where they needed us the most? For leaving me to shoulder the entire burden on my own? You have some nerve. Oh, please. You act like taking care of them was some kind of burden. You've always enjoyed playing the martyr, Kelly. But let's not forget who worked hard to earn this inheritance. Worked hard? Is that what you call it? Leaving your parents to suffer while you galvanated off on your own vacation? They needed us, Jerry. They needed their son, and you turned your back to them. They had you, didn't they? You seem to have it all under control. I knew you'd take care of things. Besides, they're not my responsibility alone. I have a life to live. Your life? What about our life, Jerry? What about the vows we took, the promises we made? This is our family, our parents, and you've betrayed us in the worst possible way. Betrayed? Please spare me the theatrics. I'm simply asserting my rights. I'll get my share, whether you like it or not, and don't even think about trying to stop me. Jerry, you've shown your true colors. Your arrogance and indifference have left a lasting mark on your family. But mark my words, I won't let you take advantage of your parents. They deserve better. Good luck with that, Kelly. You're in for a rude awakening if you think you can stand in my way. Just remember, I'll always get what's rightfully mine. I wanted to do nothing more than rip his face off, but I knew that his smirk would soon be wiped off his face when I handed him his parents' wills. True to my prediction, Jerry's smile quickly turned upside down as his eyes scanned the documents for his name. Upon discovering that his name was omitted from his parents' wills, a storm of anger and resentment consumed Jerry. Blinded by his pride and desperation, he vowed to exact revenge on me, accusing me of undue influence in his vulnerable parents. I never revealed the huge ace I had up my sleeve, the reason for his abandonment. With a calm voice, I asked him to leave our home, and so he stormed out. It wasn't shocking that Jerry decided to sue me in court. It was a move that was expected from a man who was trying desperately to regain control of a situation that had gotten out of his control and mend his shattered ego. He made false accusations, but they were meant to damage my reputation and portray himself as the victim in a twisted story. Therefore, the trial, Jerry's words, were dripping with poisonous accusations. To back up his victimhood narrative, he distorted the facts and painted a false picture. His dramatic performance was intended to sway the judge and jury by winning over their compassion while skewing their verdict. The truth, however, could not be hidden within the walls of the courtroom. The evidence I presented demonstrated my unwavering commitment to Bertha and Larry's well-being. Witness testimony, medical records, and financial records reveal the countless hours spent caring for their needs, ensuring their comfort, protecting their ears. The tide began to turn as the weight of my commitment and sincerity became apparent. Jerry's lies brought to unravel, revealing the hollows of his claims. Even baseless accusation crumbled under scrutiny, leaving him grasping at straws. However, I wasn't done yet. I wasn't satisfied with winning the case like this. I wanted Jerry to suffer. When the time came for me to take a stand and speak the truth, I decided to reveal what I had learned through my private investigator. With a calm yet resolute voice, I recounted the events that had unfolded during his 2-year vacation. I revealed the countless hours I spent caring for his ailing parents, the sleepless nights spent by the side, and the sacrifices I had made to ensure their well-being. I painted a vivid picture of his negligence, highlighting his abuse during their most vulnerable moments. And then I dropped the bombshell. I revealed the hidden truth behind his departure. It wasn't just about a vacation or work obligations. No, Jerry had left us for another woman. He had abandoned his family, shattering our lives with his selfish desires. Jerry's lawyer tried to argue that what I was saying was made up. However, my lawyer presented the court with all the evidence. Text messages, emails, photos, credit cards, you name it. I had it all. Jerry was all dumbfounded, not knowing how to react now that his entire truth was laid bare for the world to see. Even though this would have been enough of a blow for Jerry, I didn't stop. My lawyer had called to the witness stand a surprise witness. It was Jerry's affair partner. All the color in Jerry's face drained. His lawyer was shaking his head in disappointment while every so often glaring at Jerry. My best guess would be that Jerry hadn't told his lawyer the entire truth. Upon finding out about Jerry's affair partner, I decided to do a little research into her. It turned out that she was his ex, the woman he dated right before me. When Jerry came knocking at our doors, I decided to contact her and check if she knew anything about Jerry's life with us. Together, we decided that she would not change her behavior towards Jerry until the trial to avoid raising any suspicion. She agreed to take the stand for me. While on the stand, she revealed how Jerry had begun texting her 3 years ago. He had told her that he missed her and that his life without her had been miserable. They reconnected and started dating. 1 year later, he told her his job was transferring him to her city, and so she offered him a place to stay. He had never once mentioned the fact that he was married or that he abandoned his ailing parents. He had proposed to her a month ago and told her that his parents had left him a large inheritance, but he needed to go back to his hometown to claim it. Allie made eye contact with Jerry and threw her ring in his direction and asked him to never contact her again. The revelation shook the room. Bertha and Larry, who were already frail due to their illnesses, were overcome with a mixture of disappointment and sorrow. Jerry had been raised to be more than this, but he had proved to be nothing more than a heartless opportunist. Their eyes welled up with tears as they realized their own son had abandoned them. Kimmy's innocence was shattering when she discovered her father had abandoned his family for another woman. Her eyes were filled with rage, but she remained still. Jerry tried to defend himself now that he was exposed, but his words fell on deaf ears. The evidence was too overwhelming. He had gambled away the love and trust of his family, and now he would face the consequences. The judge weighed the facts before delivering a verdict that would seal Jerry's fate. The judge ruled in favor of Bertha and Larry, recognizing the years of care and dedication I had poured into their lives. Jerry's inheritance, once thought to be his birthright, was rightfully denied. The sweet taste of victory washed over me as I realized that I had not only protected my in-laws' legacy, but also exposed Jerry for the fraud he was. It was a fight for justice and the protection of the ones I loved. Jerry had no choice but to face the reality of his greed and deceit. The taste of victory was bittersweet, knowing that our lives would forever be shaped by this tumultuous chapter. So here I am, sharing my tale with you to remind you that even in the face of heartbreak, betrayal, and seemingly insurmountable odds, justice can prevail. Revenge can be a dish best served cold while being backed up by love and unconditional support.